Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? It's your girl, Maymoney, back here for another quick video. This is just Maymoney Studio. I'm just here because I had a few things that I wanted to say. Katie is busy doing rent, and so um, I'm going to let her do what she do. I'm just here to pop in for a bit. Anywho, so as you guys know, there have been, or maybe you didn't know, and that's why I'm here. There have been some developments on the military today as all the generals from all over the world were summoned to come listen to some bullshit in Quantico about whatever the fuck they were talking about within the military. And it was pretty fucked up. And honestly, I've been working on this all day about how I was gonna do it and whoop whoop whoop. And honestly, I'm exhausted even just listening to this bullshit. Let me know what you guys think. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is just a Maymoney solo-dolo. But anywho, I think that it's important that we stay up on it and talk about these things because this is a huge day in history today when it comes to our military. And what are they going to do? Are they going to just sit here and capitulate? Are they going to sit here and have all these stars and decorated military generals sit there and act like a bunch of bitches in front of a bunch of bitches? Is that what's going to happen? Or are they going to do what the military is supposed to do and protect this country? I have a few thoughts about that. I do think that there are still a lot of good people within our military, especially in the higher grades. But I don't know. At this point, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I can't, as someone, faithfully put my hope into people in this country that I can't trust, just from the evidence that has been proven that we can't trust people. And it's sadly enough, that's where it's gotten, especially for someone Black in America and a woman in America. It's not so much trust that you can really put into so-called allies because as soon as it works for them and your allies are safe, they will leave you behind. And that's been proven. Even just look at the 2024 election. It's been proven that even white women who went about their way to say that they were about it, and that they were on the side of the right and the democracy and all this, went and voted either out of fear or all sorts of shit. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're trustworthy, then you got to prove it with your actions and not just with your words. And white people, y'all aren't trustworthy right now. But that being set aside, because we will get a little bit more into that, we're just going to go through one short video with my friend John Adirola. I had a few different clips, but he pretty much sums it up. I'm not trying to make this too long because there's a thing I'd rather be doing right now. But let's go ahead and just check out this video and we'll discuss it together, okay? I'm going to share my screen. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Remember that our shows are on Mondays with the Millennial Gays with me and Katie, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 that way time. Let's just go ahead and start this up. Can y'all see this?
Shave our beards and adhere to standards. Because it's like the broken windows theory of policing. It's like when you let the small stuff go, the big stuff eventually goes. So you have to address the small stuff. We don't have a military full of Nordic pagans. But unfortunately, we have had leaders who either refuse to call BS and enforce standards, or leaders who felt like they were not allowed to enforce standards. Both are unacceptable.
Yeah, I'm obviously not a big fan of Pete Hegseth, but I do agree with him that standards have been going down. I mean, up until very recently, You wouldn't have the Department of Defense run by a goddamn daytime TV host. Look how the standards have fallen apart over time. You wouldn't have apparently an alleged raging alcoholic, an alleged sexual abuser. You wouldn't have those sorts of things as the Secretary of Defense, but now you do. Man, the standards have just fallen apart. But I do like what he said. You cannot be a leader. You can't be strong and have a beard. He specifically said we can't have fat generals anymore. If you're fat, if you have a beard, I mean, obviously you can't be a strong leader. Does he know who occupies the White House? It's not, I don't have an issue with it, but he appears to. Can Trump be a strong leader? The dude's been obese since the late 80s. JD Vance evidently needs to shave his goddamn beard because he's doing superficial stuff that's making him not a good leader. So I am now calling on JD Vance and Matt Walsh, who are hiding their face, which I've always found to be very suspicious, behind beards. They need to shave those goddamn things off because according to Pete Hegseth, you can't be a strong conservative if you've got that stuff. But anyway, look, jokes aside, that is the Fox and Friends dude lecturing, anti-woke scolding a room full of generals and admirals.
Okay, I'm gonna just have to go ahead and pause it there because for fuck's sake, you guys. This was a hard kind of episode for me to even have to muster myself up the energy to do because of, first of all, how disturbing this is, how scary this is, and how serious it is. And it seems like as much as I love everybody, we are not taking this shit seriously. We're sitting over here playing games with these people. Ain't no way you just gonna tell me that you're gonna pull up with a whole, like, pull up every military general in the world to come over here and watch some shit and then joke about how, oh, you know, if you're not about it, then you can just walk up and leave, or you can applaud for me and all this stuff. These are serious career military personnel. And I'm very curious to know what they were thinking during that time, because I mean it could be one or the other, and I think it might be a mixture of a few things. I think that there are some generals or whoever that are about this, that are all about the white supremacist movement and are that want this and that agree with that. I don't doubt that. I do also think that there are some people in the middle that may not be educated in within like what their oath in like says and entails. I think that that might be an issue. That they're just military personnel that are just going to go with what they were ordered to do, like not knowing that their orders are unlawful. And that's actually what scares me the most. And then of course there are the people that are on our side that will not take this lightly and will do the right thing. I don't know what the percentage are of that breakdown. Let me know if y'all have any more insight. They don't think, yeah, exactly. Right. How did they perceive this performance? I'm not sure, and I think I'm a little bit worried about how it was perceived. Because okay, let's just talk about this real queer. Like real queer and real clear. If I were like a master general of all the lands, I definitely wouldn't want to like let my whole plan be known, right? I would, you know, keep it to myself. I'm not going to be like the typical villain of the story and say my whole plan out loud to let my enemy know before I've even enacted it. So we have to kind of trust that there are people within our military ranks that have some sort of plan. But then at the same time, we got to trust that they have some sort of plan. And that's where I get a little squirrely with this. They can't say how they really feel. Absolutely, Andrea. Absolutely. They can't. And they're not supposed to in that setting. So if y'all see any of these videos with the title like, oh, the military were stunned into silence in silent protest, that's bullshit. Okay. They're not and I know this, I'm not even a fucking military personnel, never been in the military, never will be. But I do know that they are not, they are at attention. There's a decorum, there's something, unless somebody says at ease or something like that, then they're allowed to react and be more comfortable. But when they're standing at attention, they don't clap, they don't applaud or anything. And honestly, the people that didn't know that seem to be the people on stage. But I digress. So if you see any of these headlines saying, oh my gosh, all these military people, they were like, no, fuck that, because they didn't clap, that's not what was happening. What we need to be really talking about and thinking about is what they were thinking while they were sitting there watching that shit, and who is on our side and who's not. And how many of them do we actually have on our side and how many do we not? Or how many of them know that their oath is to the Constitution and to protect the United States of America and its citizens, and not pledged to Donald Trump? That's where we should be worried, and that's what we need to keep our eye on. And then also, we're going to have to go into the government shutdown a little bit. Me and Katie will be talking about this later, more in depth, but we'll get to that. Let's keep going with John Iadarola real quick. Thank you guys for being here so much. This is just an impromptu thing, but I think it was really important. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to get this off my chest. So let's keep going real quick. This is my homie, John Iadarola from The Damage Report. He's kind of like the first person that got me into any of this politics shit, unfortunately. But yeah, good people.
Can you imagine being a person who has served in the military for 32 years and you have to fly across the world to sit in a room and have the dude who used to chat with Pete Ducey tell you about what it means to be a warrior? Can you imagine how little respect that room has for Pete Hegseth? Okay. And then he's going to teach them about the warrior ethos, according to him. He's even going to plug his stupid little book. Take a look.
For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons. Based on their race, based on gender quotas, based on historic so-called firsts. We've pretended that combat arms and non-combat arms are the same thing. We became the woke department. But not anymore. Today, at my direction, each service will ensure that every requirement for every combat MOS, for every designated combat arms position, returns to the highest male standard only. When it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. You might say we're ending the war on warriors. I heard someone wrote a book about that.
Yeah, nobody else was saying that. You're just saying it to promote your stupid book. And I get that, like, this entire administration is just Fox News people running a continuing grift and like barking at people about wokeness or whatever. But like, we don't care about your book. None of those generals give one goddamn tiny little nugget of a crap about your stupid book. I'm being completely serious here. They don't care about any of that stuff. It's no longer the Department of Woke. Oh, you know, for decades and decades, we've only been concerned about wokeness. That's what's going on. This is just the Fox News presidency. It has no bearing or relationship to the real world. And look, his speech was self-serving and deranged. I'm going to give you a little bit of Donald Trump because Donald Trump.
Okay. I'm going to pause before we get to that. Because first of all, thank you guys so much for being here. This was so impromptu. Katie, you couldn't come. She's working on the Rent musical. So I was just like, girl, if I have to pop on, I will. But there's one thing that I did notice that Petey, Mr. Petey, Hot Petey Whiskey said was gender neutral, and then gender like standards. So which one is it? So gender neutral mean that everybody should be gender neutral, right? Like there's no masculine and feminine. But then all of a sudden now the standards of the military have to be these masculine men that can pass the test and all. Like, these people don't even know what the fuck words mean. And we're supposed to sit here and stand there at attention for 45 to an hour listening to this bullshit. It's crazy. It's insane. If y'all didn't catch that, go ahead and wind that back. I have no energy to go back and listen to this shit. I tried to find the video that would kind of put this in a concise thing for us, because honestly, this was extremely painful to watch and have to study all day, and honestly terrifying, and just terrible. So here we are. But John Adorola, our friend from the Damage Report, he is who got me into like the politics back in the day, like 2020, maybe even 2019. Before that, like right before the pandemic kind of hit, is when I started paying closer attention, and his show was the one that got me on it. So anyway, shout out to John. He's a good friend. I've met him in person. Great people. Him and JR Jackson, Francesca Fiorentini, all those people are amazing. I've met them all, and they're really great people and do the good work. So I got to give them their flowers where they're due. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I did hear about that. I don't know much more about it, but I will be looking into that. Oh, and also yeah, that X throwing thing. If y'all didn't see our video from yesterday, we had a little clip of that. But let's let John continue a little bit, because he just covers this whole story in a nice clean way, and we don't have to sit here and dirty ourselves too much with this bullshit. Thanks for being here. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Sorry that I don't have the homie Katie here, but I'm just covering for the day. What you got to say, John?
Trump, of course, he heard that there was a big meeting or whatever, so he decided to go. And we're going to give you the highlights. But just to be clear, he didn't like prep remarks for them. He just did his normal dementia stream of unconsciousness. Take a look.
Identity of the Department of War. I love the name. I think it's so great. I think it stops wars. And I'm not a fan of some of the ships you do. I'm a very aesthetic person, and I don't like some of the ships you're doing. And they said, we'd like to name it the F-47. I said, all right, let me think about it. Then after thinking for about 2 seconds, I said, okay. You know, that means 47. I'm 47. So I'm 45, 46, and 47. Yeah, if you think about it. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways.
And 45, 46, and 47, and 48, and 49. But they didn't say I was 49, but then I became 49, and then I was 47 again. And then I was 48. Maybe 48, but maybe not 48, unless I can get 48. But now then I want to be 49. But then I'm also 87, and I'm 100 million years old. 48, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45. Sorry, couldn't help it.
Was because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out. These people don't have uniforms. And you know what the people say? The people in those cities where they're being raped and shot and beat up, you know what they say? We love the military. You ever see where they interview the people on the street? I've never seen somebody say they don't, unless they're radical and paid off, because a lot of these insurrectionists are paid by, whether it's Soros or other people.
Yeah, so that was just him. He talked about tariffs. He talked about the auto pen. He talked about how he likes some ships look good and other ships don't look good. Goddamn Navy like admirals are watching that, and they're like, this is the commander-in-chief, my God. And he talked about Biden. He kept trying to do partisan stuff, expecting that they would laugh or like cheer him, and they didn't. Whatever limited respect they had for either of those two men is now utterly gone, I am sure. But the important part, Nina, is the constant talk about like sending the military in and conquering U.S. cities. He said it's a war from within. It's the same. It's Soros, by the way. Some Jewish billionaire is funding an insurrection, so we need to go conquer them. He said, we're going to use these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military. Hegseth said, we're not going to fight with stupid rules of engagement. Obviously, Hegseth, when he was in the media, was a massive advocate for war criminals and people who executed civilians. So he's continuing to do that now as a Secretary of Defense or whatever the hell they want to call it. And so this is pathetic. It's ridiculous, but it's also incredibly dark. He's basically saying to all these generals, get in line. We're going to start invading cities. What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking about the Geneva Convention and the rules of war, and I put that in air quotes, and that this dude just basically said we're throwing all of that out. He talked about violence against recruits.
This is former Senator Nina Turner of Ohio. I don't know exactly what district she was used to be in, but she is amazing and she is all about the people. I really wish that she could have been one of our leaders that got voted in, but unfortunately she was not. And now we are suffering the consequences from not doing a better job at this. But let's let her talk.
That drill sergeants should be able to use physical violence against their recruits. His quote on for too long, we promoted military leaders for the wrong reasons like gender and race. Yeah, you have. And it has been basically the measure has been white men, the majority of the time of the existence of this country and the existence of military in this country. I mean, this is just utterly ridiculous, and it is a microcosm of a larger issue that we're going to continue to have in American society. So I know our producer said we got a break. This is my answer to everything you just said, John. I'm going to have papers all over this room. It's this. These people are mad, okay? And they're going to get people hurt. It's bad enough we're already going through what we're going through right now. And to just really, women, have to, he said it's not going to be gendered, but it is gendered. I mean, John, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Women now, it's not going to be gender, but women have to measure up to a male gender physical standards. Man, what are you saying? Then you are saying it's gendered. Just go ahead and say you don't want women, you don't want blacks, you don't want other people of color, you certainly don't want people from the gay community. You don't want anybody but a standard prototype.
Yep.
That the United States, that people like you have determined are the most worthiest in this country. Yeah, I feel sad for those generals and those admirals because they are trained to take those orders and they had to sit through this man, both of those men doing what they did. And then how can you war your way to peace? We can't, why are we, like you said, we're promoting war on American cities and then you're promoting war around the world.
Yeah.
This stuff is going to blow back on innocent people. Most of the people in this country are innocent. They didn't ask for this. And there's going to be no consequences or repercussions for those people who are promoting this kind of stuff, John. This is dangerous territory.
In terms of blowback, I mean, think about how even people who are like pro mass deportation, their view of ICE has drastically gone down because of what they've been seeing. Think about what this is going to do for people's view of the National Guard and of the branches of the military. They're going to be conquering us. Got a goddamn TV host and a dude who has been mocking the very idea of service for decades, anti-woke scolding a room full of actual military professionals. Yeah. It's utterly pathetic. We're in a very dark place.
Okay. So, that is the homie John Idarola and lovely Nina Turner was a guest show on that. Please be sure to check them out if you can. John has a great show. I know Tucker Jones. I know it kind of scared me too. But check out his show. The Young Turks is a little compromised with the other two, but John's show on the Damage Report has been 100% through and through, and Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie is also a really good show. They're good people. So don't let that organization take down the actual people that really want to do the work down. I'm just going to say that, and that's a bean. Anyway, but there's one thing that I wanted to mention about this, and let me know what you guys think. First of all, we have our military personnel here that are definitely being called to answer, right? When it comes to, like, I really do think that they are our last line of defense, but the faith and the trust that I have in them, for me, is a little shaky. I'm not sure. Let me know what y'all think. maybe y'all have a little bit more information than I do, but again, I think it might be split up a little bit too much. And I think that the overwhelming majority of people in this country, including in the military, just aren't educated enough to make the right decision or make the decision rationally on their own. Like, for example, just a regular schmegular ass military dude might be asked to take this order to do something, and they don't know the background of why they're doing this, or so they might unwillingly or willingly go into Portland and start beating up people and doing stuff, thinking that they're actually doing something right when they're not. That's what I'm worried about. That's really what I'm worried about, is the lack of education. I think that the lack of education is why we have gotten here in the first place, and has gotten into this sense of apathy and this sense of ignorance that has literally put us in a really hard space. What does Jazzy have to say? I have a feeling when shit hits the fan, a lot of military members are going to go after this admin. A lot of them are not saying anything on purpose. Well, yes, of course. So you seem to have a little bit more of like a tactical, thinking of this. And I would too, if I were in the military or in that general room. I wouldn't say shit neither, because of course you don't let your whole plan be laid out to the enemy. Of course you keep things under table and whatnot. And my hope, I'm praying to the Lords above that there are actual military members that are like, we need to get together and talk about this shit and make sure that we have some sort of plan to get this done. How much faith I have in that is uncertain for me. But who knows? And if they want to go ahead, if they got the plan already, then they can go ahead and execute that shit like yesterday, because hello, we're out here fucked up. Okay. I listened to a lot of them on call and on radio stations and ID themselves, but they talk a lot about being grossed out by what's going on, even ex-military vets. I think the vets are the ones that are mainly the ones that are being like that, feel some type of way, because they've gone through the bullshit of the military industrial complex and like how it treats people and how they fuck you over once they're out of it. So I think our vets are the best bet, but they're veterans now, so they're not active duty anymore. I think it's imperative that we have some active duty high member military personnel on our side as well. That's where I have a little bit of shakiness when it comes to this. I think our vets are all about it, because first of all, not only have they lost all sorts of benefits and stuff that they earned and deserve, and they've been treated like shit and all sorts of stuff. Our vets are definitely easier to read, I guess you could say. When it comes to people active duty, I think that it's harder to read because they can't really out themselves in a plan if they have one. But knowing that they have a plan is hard to tell, because we do know that our military is still built under with an underlying of white supremacy. So I think even within our military and the generals in that room, there will still be some infighting, right? I don't know. That's just how I would look at it if I were like a thinking person or whatever. But my last thing that I wanted to get to before, I close out, I didn't want to keep us here too long. This is my question. And I guess it's more of a statement, because I've been noticing a lot of these things within our lovely community, of people that we've met. And I love y'all all to dearness. And you know that, otherwise I wouldn't be here, because I don't fuck with people that I don't fuck with. But I really think that, like how we were talking about the middle kind of uneducated swath of people that are still kind of walking around sleepwalking, or just think everything's all Gucci. Those are the people that I'm concerned about, because those are the people kind of with the power right now. And first of all, I think that we need to educate as many people as possible and get the kind of limbo sort of mindset people onto the right side, because let's just be clear, there is no right or left. It's like fascist and everybody else. Okay, let's just keep it clear. Even the people that are all about white supremacy and all that shit, if you ain't got the money for it, then your ass is gonna be kicked over to the other side, whether you like it or not. Let's just keep it a bean. But my question to y'all is, like, the how do I say this as gently as possible? Because I know y'all get mad at me when I start talking crazy and start talking real. How many of y'all are really willing to sacrifice what needs to be sacrificed to end this? So, I mean, I've had this conversation. It's been brought up multiple times within a few groups of people. Um And as soon as I'm like, okay, well, why don't we all just sit the fuck down and stop going to work and stop going to, buying shit and go on a straight up general strike? But of course, it would have to be organized, right? Or at least start somewhere. And then the first thing I hear from people on our side is, oh, well, people can't do that because their families are gonna be torn apart and they won't be able to eat and survive. And I'm like, okay, that's great and fine and dandy, but do you not see what the fuck is going on right now? We are going on the same path to nowhere, don't matter what side you're coming from. So you might as well use the power of a general strike and not having shit while you can. It Otherwise we just gonna end up there anyway. I just don't understand that argument. Yeah, read books, get your top ramen, fucking get your candles up, get your, make sure you got your pet food, make sure you got a few provisions. I don't honestly look at what happened with Disney. It took them like 24 to 42 hours to get shut the fuck down and to act right? So what if this whole country just shut down for a week? Nobody went to work, nobody was buying nothing, nobody. We have plenty of shit. I know y'all got some shit in your pantry where you can fucking last for a week without going to school, okay? I know you can do that, or going to work or whatever. But sacrifices need to be made, and if you're not willing to do that, then don't be mad when you get fucked up out here, end up in the same situation you would have if you would have gone on the general strike that I've been calling for from the jump. So that's all I got to say about that. I want to know what you guys think, but I think we're really starting to get to that point where we need to ask ourselves. Like, we need to ask ourselves, hold on, this is hella small. Let me make it bigger so I can read y'all comments. I want reparations for Andrea. I also agree with the general strike. People need to build in their community and get ready. I agree. I think a general strike doesn't mean we have to just abandon each other or anything like that. I don't think that that's really what it's all about. It's about, okay, if we were to plan something like this, then make sure you got your provisions and everything's all right and tight. Shit, I don't know. Maybe we could do something with the schools and we all going on fucking strike. You can bring the kids up to the damn school. We all sit in the playground and make sure we have the fucking taco trucks or whatever. Make sure people still getting fed, and we all just sit down and not do shit and shut this whole country down together and take care of each other for once. Have we ever even thought of that? Like, that's what happened. That's how we got here, because everybody doesn't give a fuck about anybody beyond their nose. I mean, look at the Latino community. Sorry, y'all, but y'all fucked yourselves. Like, they voted because they were like, oh, I'm not a criminal, but my grandma is, so she can get deported as long as I don't. And now look what happened. Let's just keep it a bean. We are too fucking selfish. We are too fucked up out here. We don't give a fuck about anybody else. And to the point where people are like, oh, you know what? I won't go on a general strike because I have to take care of my family. Well, guess what? Your family will be taken care of by the fucking new Gestapo that we have in this country. And don't come after Maymoney for no advice after that shit done happen. You feel me? Yes, we stood together for Kimmel. We stood together, check local food banks. There's ways to make this happen in a safe way, a non-violent way, a way that we can actually build community and actually be stronger after we get through it. But the unwillingness, yes, the unwillingness, and this is straight up, Jazzy, the unwillingness of our communities and as society to take care of each other in a time of straight up grief and struggle and pretty much peril is going to be detrimental to this country. And honestly, fuck hope, because I don't have hope in that. I don't have hope in people that won't even like care about their next door neighbor getting fucked up for no reason. And this is only going to get worse, you guys. And so I don't want to, it could get that far. Yes. I don't want to hear nobody coming talking to the Maymoney about nothing. Because I've been telling y'all since before I was on this channel, since before I was on the channel before, since I was on before Don Lemon, I've been telling y'all that this is going to fuck us up. But hey, I got receipts. I got my receipts. It's Libra season and karma likes to get around during this time of the year. So I just want to let y'all know, as my peoples, that we have to take care of each other, and we have to start thinking about now what we are gonna willing to be able to sacrifice for the greater good to help all of us. And yeah. Yep. Yeah, just do your part. Just do your part. And I got my katana over there and my other various knivery and bladery. But yes. All right. Well, you know what? That's all I really got for you guys. I do want to make sure that you guys stay up to date. John had a great show. There's way more content from that show today. And then also I was going to show a little bit from Midas Touch. They had a good coverage of like the whole exhausting meeting. I didn't even want to show you guys that because it was just too much. First of all, Connell, he is like slurring his words. He looked like he was about to just drop dead there. I wish he would have. That would have been nice. But it was bad. And so I didn't really want to like put y'all on that. If that's something you want to go ahead and spend your time on, by all means. I'm just trying to give you the basic rundown and the actual like give y'all the severity of the problem, because as much as we sensationalize all this news and stuff, it's important to really get down to the actual point, and which is what the fuck we gonna do about it, and what the fuck are we gonna do about it? Because all this talking, I can get up here and talk myself blue to the face. If we aren't willing to actually take action, then all right, go ahead and fuck around and let's see what happens. Y'all ain't gonna catch me slipping because I'll be paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it was a hot mess. Indeed it was. So anyway, I do believe me and Katie have a show scheduled for 4:30 or 5:30 on Thursday. And I'm sure there will be plenty of news to talk about then. I'll probably just go ahead, throw up a little short for tomorrow. Please be sure to bring some friends. The government shutdown is at midnight. Again, the midnight shutdown. Hey, if you lose your job because the government shutdown, go sit right down and don't buy shit, don't do shit, and start protesting. Get on this general strike. I really do believe that that is like the quickest way and the safest way out of this. I really do. But hey, nobody listened to the tarot reader. Yeah, whatever. Anywho, so yeah, just keep an eye out for us. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. I have a lot of, little blurbs there. That's right down below. You already know we go live at 4:30 on Mondays. Please share with your friends, bring more people. We're trying to get to 50 subscribers so we can, make things kind of move forward with the channel and like unlock a few things. So please be sure to, support us in that way. Thanks so much, Dally Oops and Andrea and Jazzy, of course, for being here. I wasn't even expecting nobody to be here, but I think this was really, really, really important. And yes, Jazzy, the government shutdown is at midnight. Please keep an eye out on that. We will definitely be coming to you with as much as we can when we can. We are busy out here, but I really do believe this is important stuff. So anyway, we'll check in with you next time. And thanks so much for being here. We love y'all. Keep it gangsta out there. Don't get caught slipping. You feel me? Bye.